Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. I am Beth and this is your road trip for Manchester United versus Newcastle United. And look, the sun is out, the sun is shining in Manchester. I don't know what it's going to be like up in the northeast, but in the northwest we have sunshine, we have a clear sky and we're absolutely buzzing about it. This is what happens, right? This is what happens when Michael Carrick is in charge of Manchester United. The air just feels fresher. You wake up with more of a spring in your step in the morning. The water feels cleaner. You just feel happier. And he's even made the sun come out. He's made the sun come out in Manchester. It feels like a breakthrough. Spring is just upon us. Manchester United are unbeaten. We absolutely love to see it. Unbeaten under Michael Carrick, that is. Can we do it again, though? St James's Park is going to be a very, very tough ground to go to. It's not been that tough, though, in recent times for other teams. Newcastle have got a really poor record there this season, and they're not having the best run of it. Their form, it's not where they'd want it to be, and they're not the same Newcastle team that has been so strong in recent times. I've got some stats to bring in, actually, but Eddie Howe's been speaking. He said the team is going to be proactive. They've still got some really good players. They have got some important players out, but they've still got some good players. This is their cup final. You know, it's that famous social media post, who's that team you call United? They love the rivalry with Manchester United, and they are going to be up for it. Eddie Howe's been speaking about how getting a result against this Manchester United side at home could change their form, change their season. They are going to be bang up for it, and Manchester United need to be prepared. We've been slow out of the blocks in the last few games, and as much as I can go on about Carrick ball and the results are the most important. I think the sign of a good team is when you can win, you can get points on the board, when your performance levels aren't necessarily at their best. But Newcastle are a test. Defensively under Carrick we have been a lot better, but the performances overall in the last couple of games have dipped a little bit, and I want to see some firepower. I want to see us going at Newcastle, and I think this could be a really good Premier League clash. In terms of, the sun's shining in Manchester, will it be raining goals at St James's Park? That is my best weather girl impression. Sun in Manchester, raining goals at St James's Park, but raining goals for Manchester United. Will Benjamin Sesko start? He just cannot stop scoring at the moment, and he can't stop scoring really important goals for Manchester United, really good goals as well, some absolute quality finishes, and the potential in him. He looks like he's got it all, really. He looks like he needs to be polished, of course he does, but you're really starting to see just that raw talent and that raw, the attributes you need from a top-class centre-forward sort of coming through in Benjamin Sesko. He's nowhere near his best, but you can really see that ability in him. And, I've had City fans say to me, I've had Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans say to me, do you know what? That Benjamin Sesko, he looks pretty good. Even Newcastle United fans have said, I understand now why we tried to go for him over Walter Maida. I do think they have been a little bit harsh on Walter Maida, to be fair to them. But Sesko is looking like a real quality signing for Manchester United, and I think he's got all the attributes of what it takes to be a successful target man in the Premier League. So will he start? Let me know. But in terms of team news, what I am most bothered about is it looks as if Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw are both fit and ready for this game. There is going to be a late fitness test, so I can't say 100% certainty that they will be back. However, Michael Carrick did confirm with Harry Maguire and with Luke Shaw it was just illness, which is a good thing. Look, norovirus has been going round, illness has been going round. I know a few people that have had it. Some people in the United Stand has had it. That's why Luke Shaw looked as white as a ghost. Harry Maguire, to put in that level of performance, by the way, against Palace, as our only experienced centre-back available, absolutely hats off to you once again. I'm still trying to scope out a place of where you can build Harry Maguire's statue. I was bricking it a little bit that he wasn't going to be available for this game, and there's still a slight chance he might still be ill, but I'm hoping he's going to be fit enough to play, because as much as Lenny Yoro and Aidan Heaven have massive potential, getting Aidan Heaven for £1 million Great British pounds, fantastic, amazing. I think he's got so many good attributes that, in a few years, he could be a really top-level player for Manchester United. Lenny Yoro as well. I know he made that little mistake against Palace, but he recovered really well. He's got good attributes. He's not the finished article. There's stuff he needs to work on. Needs to get a bit tougher, a bit stronger. Needs to turn a little bit quicker. However, he's got everything that's needed to develop into a top-class centre-back. And them two together in the future, that could be Manchester United's future. Look how young they are, early 20s, late teens. When they're like 25, 26, they could be up there. But as of now, we desperately need Maguire, Leacher, De Ligt, at least one of them to help guide one of them youngsters. In an ideal world, you have a De Ligt and a Martinez, or a Maguire and a Martinez, because that's your best centre-back pairing as of now. But Lenny Yoro was capable of stepping in, so was Aidan Heaven. But going to St James's Park, which is a very intimidating place to go, a very physical place to go, you've got big Dan Burn getting in there. You want Harry Maguire in the mix. I wouldn't really fancy going into that game with two centre-backs that are young and don't have a wealth of Premier League experience. Again, I'm not knocking them, but Harry Maguire is absolutely vital in this game, and I fancy him to have another good performance. So I'm very, very happy it's looking like Harry Maguire can play. And in terms of Luke Shaw, if he's fit and ready to play, I would play him at left-back. And do you know what? Mazraoui did such a good job when he came on for him in that Palace game. I'd debate putting Mazraoui at right back, I think Diogo Dalot, he had... You all right there? Yeah, all right. Thank you. Nice one. Nice one, yeah. Nice one. Honestly, if you're going to do it, please have the confidence to come and say something to my face rather than wolf whistling in the corner of the vicinity, I would say. Genuinely. Anyway, back to my point. Diogo Dalot, although he started really well under Michael Carrick, I do think last game it was a really poor one from him. Maybe Carrick goes with him again because he's been reliable for him and because, he is unbeaten and he's been part of that team. Maybe he goes with him again. But you want to have that option to bring on Mazraoui or have Mazraoui there to play there, because I think Mazraoui actually, really took his opportunity against Palace and had a pretty good game. Mazraoui is just a top-level squad player. He's always going to give you a 7 out of 10. He's going to run his socks off. He's got good pace. He gets around the pitch really well. He times his tackle really well. He's always there for you. So Mazraoui is definitely an option. However, I would still start Luke Shaw if he is fit. The Dalot one, though, you want to have Mazraoui there. I'd honestly think about starting Mazraoui. I'm going to be honest, I'd think about starting Mazraoui. I just don't think Carrick will. But get in the comments, would you start Mazraoui or would you start Dalot in this game? The rest of the team sort of picks itself. You're going to have Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes. It's the best midfield. Bruno is sort of playing more as a forward player, but that's going to be the midfield three. On the right, this is where it's going to get interesting. I think he is going to go with Mbeumo on the right, Cunha on the left, and Sesko up front again. And I just don't think you can drop Sesko back down to the bench after he scored that goal from the start as well against Crystal Palace. He had a really good performance. However, I would be tempted in this game because it's against a team that I do think we're going to be up against it. We are away from home. I would be tempted to have Sesko in my back pocket to bring off the bench and start with AMAD, who, when he came on against Palace, had such a brilliant cameo and is a super hard worker. He's going to get in the right defensive positions. He's going to keep the team shape really well. He's, got that little bit of pace that can catch Newcastle out. Look, Sesko has pace as well. He absolutely does. But AMAD, he's played that right wing back. He's defensively disciplined. He's really good on the ball. He's good at taking a man on. I think we can get at Newcastle through AMAD. So I'm going to put my neck on the line here. As good as Sesko's been, I think I would start with AMAD, Cunha and Mbeumo. I think I would, I really think I would. But that's nothing against Sesko. It's each game. He can't stop scoring. Bring him on off the bench when we need him. That's, I think, the route I'd go down. Don't get me wrong. If we start with Sesko up front, AMAD on the bench, Mbeumo on the right and Cunha on the left, I'm not going to be sat here saying, Michael Carrick's made a massive mistake. Don't know what he's doing there. I'm not going to be sat here saying that. I'm absolutely not. But I'm just saying, I think if it was up to me, based on the way that Newcastle play and how crucial the opening 20 minutes, opening 45 minutes are going to be, the main thing that's going to be on our minds is to not concede. We want to stay in that game because we have such a good chance to continue this unbeaten run and to put a good performance in, and to get a result at St James's Park, especially get a win, is a fantastic result no matter what the circumstance. The first objective will be to not concede, and I think AMAD does contribute to that with his defensive work, and Mbeumo, his defensive work is excellent as well, and Cunha too. So I fancy Carrick to go down that route, but if he does start Sesko will be fancying it. He nearly joined Newcastle in the summer. He's full of confidence. I don't mind that either, but that would be my sort of decision. When everyone's playing pretty well and contributing and chipping in, you're going to have to make these decisions. So let me know your thoughts on that. So I think I would bring Mazraoui in for Dalot, and I think I would bring AMAD in for that defensive discipline, and what AMAD brings to the game is so important. From the start of the game, the defensive discipline, the team shape, being able to, hold the ball, bring that width. I think that's going to be important against Newcastle. So they're the changes I would make. In terms of Newcastle, though not maybe being the same outfit as they have been previously. I mean, first of all, I'll start with their injury news / players they're going to have out. Walter Maida, Bruno Guimaraes, Tino Livramento and Fabian Schär are all set to miss tomorrow's game versus United. So Walter Maida apparently has that illness that is going around. Bruno Guimaraes still injured. Tino Livramento is just going to miss out. Schär, who's an important player for them, is going to miss out as well. So they do have quite a few important players injured and out. So that's a benefit to United, but they've still got some quality players as well. The last 5 results against Newcastle for United, the last one was 1-0 against Newcastle, that Patrick Dorgu wonder goal at Old Trafford. That was a hard graft. That was when we went back to a back 4, actually, but we were under pressure the whole game. We were lucky to get a win there, but we got a win, and again, the result is the most important. Before that, in April 2025, 4-1, Newcastle beat us in the Premier League, which is a day I want to forget. Before that, we have a 2-0 Newcastle win over Manchester United. Before that, you have a 3-2 Manchester United win over Newcastle, and then before that it's a 1-0 Newcastle win. So it can go one way or the other. You know, United will win a game, Newcastle will win again, then it's United winning, Newcastle winning again. So the last 5 games, you know, with Newcastle United, it's really hard to call. We've won some good games as well, but Newcastle have certainly had our number at times too. And Eddie Howe's a good manager who is going to be proactive against us. But just in terms of Newcastle's home record, because St James's Park is a tough place to go, 7 wins, 2 draws, 5 losses in the 25-26 season. They've lost 3 consecutive home games at St James's Park, which isn't good for them considering it's their fortress. They've scored 26, conceded 23, and their current standing 13th overall. So Newcastle aren't in good form. The confidence will be low, but they'll see this as an opportunity to get themselves back on track and get themselves back on the map. So we've got to understand that and be aware of that. And Michael Carrick will be. And in terms of Manchester United's away form, 5 wins, 6 draws, 3 losses. So that's pretty decent. Unbeaten in our last 5 away games, which again is impressive. 23 scored, 23 conceded. So that's a little bit of a, you know, not great for the goal difference, but 3rd overall in the table. We have gone into 3rd place now. It's a nice place to be in. United, on paper, should be winning this game. Carrick has it in him to go and win this game. Am I being greedy by saying I want a performance and a result? I am going to be, but I think we can get it. Finally, I'm going to get my score prediction in. I'm going to go with a 3-2 to Manchester United. I think it's going to be a game full of goals. Even though I've said Carrick likes a clean sheet and we've been defensively sound, it's either going to be a tight 2-1 or a tight 3-2. And I actually think Sesko, again, is going to score. I think AMAD's going to get a goal, and I think Cunha might turn up in this game, everyone. That's going to be my score prediction. Bruno's going to assist left, right and centre, let's see. But then again, Mbeumo can always chip in. When you've got quality players, if you do well at defending your box and you don't concede too many, when you've got quality players like United do, when we've rebuilt that forward line, you've always got a chance. So get in the comments down below, get my words out, your score prediction, your thoughts and feelings. And yeah, 2-1 United or 3-2 United. I'm going with a win. All that's left to say is come on United.